What's up, y'all? Hope you're having a good day, good night, whenever it is that you're watching this. I had just goofed up. I created the uh, preview for this stream, and then couldn't figure out how to log on to it. So anyway, I'm gonna give people a minute or two to get the notification that I just started streaming and hop in here, and then we will get to chatting. The theme of tonight's stream, more or less, is spring soft plastics. There's a lot that we could talk about within that, but want to talk about a few things specifically. Want to talk about the giveaway that I just did and that I'm going to do in this video. So if you hang tight just a few minutes, you'll get to hear what's in the giveaway for this video and what you need to do to enter. Of course, you could just watch all the way through, and I'll probably say it multiple times. But I doubt the instructions will be in the description of this video, so just hang tight. Give people a few minutes to hop in here. Tonight, I'm drinking none other than Truly hard seltzer in the lime flavor. I am not much of a hard seltzer type of guy, but yeah, you drink what you got. Been drinking a lot of red wine recently. Just been drinking a little bit more with all this coronavirus action, just hanging out at home that much more. What up, what up? Looks like somebody just hopped in here. What up, Ray? Good question, man. I created the stream on my computer some 30 or 45 minutes ago and then couldn't figure out how to start the stream on my phone. So I goofed up there, and I know that's going to affect who ends up getting the notification and who ends up hanging out in here with us, but no big deal. We'll just hang out for a little while tonight, talk soft plastics, and um, we can chat about the email that you had sent me and some of the baits that you're looking at right now, as well as maybe some of the baits that I was shopping for, almost pulled the trigger on these last couple days, but didn't end up actually making a purchase. I've got my computer here right next to me, so I could pull some of that stuff up. But what's up? How are you guys doing tonight? Looks like somebody just hopped in here. Riley, you told me to stay away from that devil's lettuce. No, you didn't, first of all. And what you talking about? Riley, the night's been pretty good. I didn't get my daughters down until a little bit late, so didn't get around to creating a preview for this stream, or like I was just telling Ray, I I created the stream on my laptop and then tried to start the stream on my phone, and I'm still kind of a rookie at all this, so couldn't get it figured out. Ended up having to essentially bail on that one and create a brand new one that I just fired up. So appreciate the fact that you guys got the notification and are in here right away. We're just 3.5, almost 4 minutes into the stream. So while we're at it, we might as well just talk about the giveaway information. Riley knows, but Ray does not. What happened with the giveaway? Because I think I was on here like a week ago and told you guys what I was going to do for the giveaway. And I let you help me pick some of the stuff out, I think. So I talked about the pack of white Zoom Super Flukes. And then instead of the rest of those soft plastics that we gathered and talked about, I built another little mini tackle box for pre-spawn fishing and assembled that for the giveaway. And I posted it on Instagram. This was the giveaway for March. So I posted it earlier this week, and you know, it only ran for 2 or 3 days, and then I stopped the giveaway. So that giveaway is actually come and gone for you guys right now. Would you mind leaving a comment, letting me know how it looks and sounds to you guys? Is it all right? So in addition to the flukes, I threw in the Lunker Hunt Fetch swim bait, pre-rigged on an owner flashy swimmer. This is the 6/0 Colorado blade. And then I put one extra swim bait in there just for the sake of it. So 2 swim baits with 1 hook, 1 pre-rigged wobble head. This is the Jean LaRue Biffle hardhead with the Reaction Innovations Man Bear Pig pre-rigged on there. Got the Googan Squad Scout jerkbait in the yellow perch pattern. The Terminator shuttering bait. This is a vibrating jig with a cupped hard plastic lip there. And then 2 crankbaits. One lipless crankbait. This is a Bill Lewis rattle trap in this shiny color called Red Tiger. That's the 1/2 ounce version. And lastly, got a Storm Wigglewort with upgraded hardware on in the Phantom Red Craw color. So I assembled kind of a relatively large tackle box for the winter. And as I said, Ray, I am sorry to tell you, but that giveaway has run on Instagram and the winner has already been announced. So that ended up being an exclusive giveaway to Instagram. So I wish I could tell you more than just, you should have Instagram, but I'm still trying to figure out the best way to open up a giveaway to both platforms and be able to draw a winner properly. So what I decided I'm going to do is do a separate giveaway for YouTube exclusively right now. Brian Waterman, what up? Thanks for the thumbs up. All right, so we talked a little bit about some of these baits last week, specifically a couple packs of the 6 Sense soft plastics. This is the Ned Fry in the Oxblood color. Hey, I appreciate you, Ray. I understand that. Giveaways is not really why you guys are here, but, it is, it's a tactic that I use for growing my channel and my community, but it's also how I give back, right? So I'm acquiring tackle at a rate much faster than what I could use. So it only makes sense that I share the wealth, if you will, just like I'm doing with my knowledge, right? So I'm acquiring knowledge at an extraordinary rate. I might as well give it back, share, and teach you guys along the way. Even when I'm not fishing, might as well talk about fishing. So same goes for giving away tackle. I'm not doing that because that's why people are here, but because I appreciate you guys. So anyway, I appreciate you saying that. Riley, you're here for the tips, and to hang out? Right on. Cool. So to that point, while I'm going through these, why don't you guys just leave a comment and let me know what it is that you guys want to talk about, any questions that you might have that have come up over the last few days or the last week. Brian says, a live coin flip would be neat. Heads goes to YouTube. Interesting. Yeah, I would consider that. The only thing is there's going to be way more entries on Instagram than there are on YouTube. So that would make your chances of winning much higher if you entered on YouTube. And so that kind of throws things off a little bit too. Simon, what's going on, dude? Justin, change your YouTube name. It was No Diggity. Now it's Fishing the Evergreen. Pretty cool, man. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Ray says totally down with it. Would be fun to win stuff that we all love. Just wanted to be sure while I'm here, or why I'm here. Now they're gonna talk lose. You love all my baits, says Simon. I appreciate that. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about soft plastics for the spring in general, but before we get into talking all over the place, let's go through a couple packs of soft plastics that I do want to include in the giveaway here. And I haven't done this before in doing a giveaway on a live stream, or really through a YouTube video specifically. So I'm thinking, no, Simon, I actually don't have a Facebook page. I might have created one, but don't ever post on there. So it's just Instagram and YouTube is all that I'm on right now. And my Instagram page is much larger than my YouTube channel at this point. So it is part of my monthly deal on Instagram, as that I post every day and I give away a package once a month. So anyway, I did just do a giveaway, like I said, with one pack of soft plastics and like 6 different baits. So 7 pre-spawn lures for one lucky winner who did just win. So in this video, we're going to give away at least these 5 packs right here. If not, maybe more, whatever we end up talking about over the course of this video. So 2 packs of 6 cent soft plastics. One is the 4.6 inch Ned Fry. This in the Oxblood color. This is like a peanut butter and jelly with a red flake. And that jelly is a pretty bright purple. Not that you can see that well. It's got a flat bottom, so it would make for a good drop shot bait, as well as a good shaky head bait. And of course, if you trim it down, a great Ned rig bait. I think it would also be great on a Nico rig. So the Ned Fry from 6 cents comes 10 to a pack. That is the Oxblood color. Next is the 6 cents Clout, 5.4 inch. This in the Melon Dust color. This is more of a half green pumpkin, half watermelon type of color. And as you can see, it's got a lot of ribbing, ridges, texture to the bait. And this is a stick bait, best for wacky rigging, Texas rigging. So that is what I will use it for. Throw it into my mix of wacky rig worms. I don't throw a wacky rig all that often, but from what I've seen and heard about this bait right here, I think it's worthy of having in the mix, and especially when you consider that you get 10 in a pack for $5. It's a good deal. Okay, last of the worms is the Zoom Trick Worm. This in the green pumpkin as well. So we're not venturing out too much with color, but their green pumpkin is quite a bit different than that Melon Dust from 6 cents. And Trick Worm is just a classic year-long, year-round floating worm. You know, this is a 7-inch bait, I think, something like that. And awesome shaky head bait, but really good for twitching in shallow water this time of year. You know, a methylate trick worm is what Mark Daniels Jr. was throwing a couple weeks ago on Lake Fork and just killing them one day. But trick worm is a bait that you can throw a ton of different ways, and it comes 20 to a pack. So I've got a full pack of green pumpkin trick worms there for you. So 3 different types of worms, all that you would throw in different applications. There's a little bit of overlap between these. You could throw all 3 on a shaky head, for example, or on a Nico rig. But quite frankly, the Ned Fry is going to do better on a Nico or a Ned, a true stand-up presentation. The trick worm is going to do good on a shaky head or a Texas rig. And the Clout is going to do best on a wacky rig or maybe a Texas rig as well. Next up is the Keitech Crazy Flapper. This is the 3.6 inch, and you guys picked the color on this last week. I'm not totally sure about the color anymore because when I looked back at it, this is the color that I gave away last time I gave away this bait. And so, I don't know. I might just pull a last minute switch up on you guys and grab a different color to give away. But it is going to be this middle size. This is the 3.6 inch Crazy Flapper. This bait is awesome in a ton of different uses. So, really good Texas rig bait, really good Tokyo rig bait, really good creature style bait for Carolina rig or a wobblehead. Also makes a great jig trailer, swim jig trailer, chatterbait trailer. This thing in this size is super, super versatile. Only thing is, once you break these appendages apart and let it do its thing, it has a tremendous amount of action. So it is more of an aggressive type of bait, not for cold water specifically. Of course, you can get bit in cold water on a more aggressive bait, but Crazy Flapper is a good one for sure. And last one is the Googan Baits Bandito Bug, and this is just a little bit more subtle. Bandito Bug is a lot more like the like the Strike King Rage Bug. Okay, so it's got this wider beaver / bug profile, not quite as narrow as like a Craw, like a Rage Craw or the Kraken Craw by Googan Baits, but it does have these flanged kickers. Super versatile bait here. So I've actually combined 3 different colors into the pack here. You got 3 in Alabama Craw, 2 in Green Pumpkin, and 2 in the natural color. I posted a picture of this color on my Instagram page today. It's kind of like a palish tan gold belly, and then like a green pumpkin blue flake top. Really cool color there. So anyway, not the most durable soft plastic here in the Googan Baits, but very high quality. It's got a really nice scent to it, and they're good baits. So one mixed pack of the Googan Baits Bandito Bug rounds out 5 total packs. 2 creature craw type of baits and 3 worms. Let me answer the questions that have flown in, and we can keep the conversation going. So the only thing you need to do to enter the giveaway here is be subscribed, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Anyone comment in the actual comment section below, not in the live chat of this live stream right now. But if you leave a comment down below so that I can see after the fact, after the video is posted, that is all you need to do. If you can't do that right now for whatever reason while I'm streaming, then just do it right after the stream is over. Make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below. So I will just grab a comment from the list. Russ Dennis. It's just five packs of soft plastics. You didn't miss it. You just missed me showing all the baits, man. So Ray says, I got a tip about those clouts from Six Sense if you want me to share. Absolutely, Ray. Share the info, man. What do you got? Simon says, have you fished any tournaments? No, I haven't, Simon. Thanks for asking. Tournaments, I might be interested someday, but it's one, just not really my bag. Um, I fish for fun, and I rarely go fishing all day long. So to be able to fish multiple days in a row all day long just isn't all that realistic for me. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about the whole tournament scene personally. Simon also says Strike King, Rage Toad, and Green Pumpkin, Pearl Belly. Uh, Nose Hooked. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Russ says, sorry, dude. No, don't be sorry. All right, guys, there's 6 people in here, 8 thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys. Um, so I take it you 6 people are probably entered into the giveaway already. I wish you the best of luck. Russ, one more time, real quick, man. 1 pack of 6 Sense Ned Fries. 1 pack of 6 Sense Clouts. 1 pack of Zoom Trick Worms. 1 pack of Keitech Crazy Flappers. And 1 pack of Googan Baits Bandito Bugs. That is the giveaway for this video. Riley says, Simon, you should do the tournament thing. It's great. Ray says, per someone who helped design it, supposedly it slays on a Carolina rig. I don't know from experience, though. The Clout on a Carolina rig. I bet that's good. You know, I know that straight tail worms, stick baits, as well as creature baits tend to do really well on a Carolina rig. I don't usually throw Carolina rig too often, so that's an interesting tip. I will definitely bank it in my mind and try to remember that for future purposes if talking about the Clout with other people. So anyway, that's a good point. Ray, we can talk about your order on Tackle Warehouse that you're building up right now. I'll mention I've got carts filled up on Bass Pro and at Tackle Warehouse right now for a couple reasons, and I never pulled the trigger on Bass Pro because, yeah, I hear you, Ray. Casting a Carolina rig is just a hassle, especially if you're fishing from a kayak like you, man. So anyway, Bass Pro just had their spring classic fishing sale going on, and it ended like the day before yesterday on the 1st. And so those baits have or those deals have gone away, but they've got other deals going on right now. So I was going to pull the trigger on a number of things, and those deals kind of faded away. So the cart evolved a little bit. The only thing that's on sale right now that I'm interested in are pretty much most of the Strike King Rage Tail products on Bass Pro and Cabela's right now are cheaper than you can find anywhere else. So considering getting like $50 worth of 10 or 12 packs of Rage Tail baits, just other colors of some baits that I already have, like the Magnum Rage Bug and the Magnum Menace Grub and the Baby Rage Bug. Some of these newer Rage Tail baits in the last couple of years, as well as the new 5.75 inch Rage Swimmer. So Brian Waterman says, what bait do you think is the most overrated, not as good as the hype, in your opinion? Oh, good question. Oh, Most overrated bait. I think there's a lot of baits that are put out that are made to catch fishermen more than fish. So it's tough to say, but some of the chase baits, I will say, have been ones that fit into that category as overhyped or overrated. They just put out that mud bug, which is essentially the Kraken Clacken Craw from River to Sea, and I try not to fall into that trap too often, but still end up doing so. So hard to say most overrated, um, but I'll keep thinking about that one, man. Appreciate the question. Justin says, "Why is it that every bank fisherman casts to the middle, but boat fishermen cast to the shore?" Uh, well, bank fishermen shouldn't cast to the middle. Uh, they should cast at an angle as parallel to the shore as they can, unless there's a specific piece of cover. But I guess that just happens to be the fact that boat fishermen know where the fish are, and bank fishermen are doing what they can do, or what's obvious. Simon says, Riley, I have a 4 pound, 3 ounce bass mounted here at my house, 21 inches, $10 per inch, so $210. Sheesh. 4 pounds, 3 ounces is your PV so far. Okay, Simon. Ron Holly, what's up, man? So Simon caught it on a Rapala jointed shad color in the fall. Right on. Yeah, Ron, definitely got to get away from COVID. Hang out with some people. You know what I mean? Whether it's family, friends, or people with similar interests, like we're doing here. That's what's up. All right. Looks like you guys are just kind of chatting with each other in the comments. Ask me some questions. So, like I said, in my cart at Bass Pro right now, I've got a couple packs of the Magnum Rage Bug. And let me just show you guys these, because these are going to be the majority of the baits that I end up using most of this year. Check out the size difference here between the Magnum here, which is giant, and the baby size here, which is tiny. Pretty wild here. So I really like the standard size Rage Bug and throw it all the time. But I always love the idea of switching it up just a little bit. So here's the standard bug. They made that Magnum, and it's not so much bigger, but size-wise from the side, it is way thicker. It is significantly heavier, and these legs carry a bit more weight. So once they came out with the Magnum size, kind of fell in love with it right away. And the cool thing is they still make a clamshell package for it. And instead of 7 in a pack, it comes with 6. So it's like same price, packaged the same way, for one less in the pack. So I was all about that. Jumped on them, got them in a couple sizes, and am still trying to stock up on a few other colors while I'm at it. Now, it is a little bit more of like a flippin' bait specifically, or for like a big chatterbait trailer, or for like a bigger football jig type of presentation. Whereas the standard bug, you can do a little bit of everything with. Now, the baby bug came out last year, and this little thing is tiny. I mean, you're going to throw it on a finesse jig, like a micro jig, or on a tiny Texas rig on like a 1/0 hook. But it's just cute, you know? It's a little bit too wide to throw on like a typical Ned rig, but there's so much that you can do with this small size too. You could even drop shot this, and it's awesome. So I plan to get a couple more colors of it, but it was released just last year, and unfortunately doesn't come in any clamshell packaging. Just comes in this little plastic thing like all the KVD Perfect Plastics baits do. So that's a little bit disappointing. You know, they come in a pack of 9, but you don't get a clamshell with the baby bugs. So that, plus they're still expensive. They're like $6.99 a pack. And the normal Rage bugs are a lot cheaper than that, like $5.49. So anyway, whoops. Sorry about that. Riley says, have you tried a poppin' frog with a chatterbait blade? No, I haven't. I've definitely tried a soft plastic toad as a chatterbait trailer. But if what I think you mean, what you could do is take one of these switchblades like I've been showing you guys recently, and you can rig it straight onto this Stanley poppin' ribbit toad. That would work. Or I guess you could get an actual frog out. Like this new evergreen frog that I've got. And I guess you could put the chatter blade on the front there. Now, in my opinion, that would be a little bit weird, right? The blade's not always going to be underwater, especially on a good frog. It's going to sit a little bit ass in and nose out of the water. So when you move it, it's going to want to walk instead of dive underwater. So chatterbait blade on something like a topwater doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, just in my opinion. Now, for something like a toad, which ordinarily would sink when you run it, you know, one that's not hollow like this, use a standard toad and you throw it out there and it's going to sink. So running it like a buzz bait, either on the surface or just barely subsurface, kind of waking it, I think could work with a chatterbait blade. But otherwise, I don't think so with a poppin' frog. But that's just me. Ray says, I tried the baby today for the first time on that lifted jig. Right on. Ray, how did you like it, man? Baby Rage bug on the lifted jigs. Ned EWG. My guess is that thing fits pretty well on there. Simon says, what's your favorite frog type and color? Favorite frog type is probably live target coppers. in this biggest size. You know, they make them in a few different sizes. And I'd say the big size in this brown, I think they call it like a black and tan color or something like that. For the last couple of years, that's been my favorite frog, at least. There are a bunch of good ones, though. One that really impressed me that came onto the market last year was the Z-Man frog. I don't even know what they call it. Pop something. Really pretty cool frog there, actually. Um, Pleasantly surprised by how well it collapses. Brian said, best way to store hooks. Packaging is too bulky in some name brands, take up too much space. I use a backpack, fish from the bank. Yeah, you know, that's tough. You know, you got to decide what it is that you're using for hooks, but mostly this is the terminal box that I use most of the time, Brian. And so like this is a 3600 size box that I've got, and I've got swim bait hooks and grip pin and screw lock style hooks in one column. So all EWG weedless style hooks in one. I've got swim bait jig heads at the top. I've got flipping hooks and EWG hooks there. I've got shaky heads. Got some bullet weights and peg stoppers. I've got some accessories like nail weights and a couple spinner blades and Nico hooks, things like that. So that makes up most of what I need most of the time. That said, I do have separate little boxes for Ned rig hooks and for drop shot stuff, but otherwise that takes up you know, I can usually fit what I need in a 3600 size box. So I guess it depends on what applications you're doing most of the time. If you're fishing soft plastics versus hard baits, and how you tend to rig them. If you're fishing a pond, you know, I'd say it's important that you've got Texas rig materials and swim bait hooks more than anything. But you know, I think having wacky rig stuff, Nico rig stuff is also helpful. So let's keep it moving. Ron, this is the first time you've tried this, man. That's cool. Good to hear. Ron, first time in a live stream. I'm sorry I'm not a little bit quicker on responding to your comments, but welcome to the live stream. Very cool. Ray said you loved the bait, but you didn't have any bites on it. Okay. Well, Simon, you have a blessed night as well. I know he's probably not in here anymore. Ray says it was pandemonium on the water today. Bass acting like air jaws, just thrashing bait pods. Craziest thing I've seen in a lake. That is super wild. Justin says, would you tie on a lipless? Would you tie a lipless drop shot or spinnerbait? Like if water temp was 45 and clear visibility like 10 feet. Lipless, drop shot, or spinnerbait. I would rule out spinnerbait, and I would go with a drop shot first. If you know where the fish are, if you're in high probability areas, but if you're covering water, then I would use a lipless. It's just a little bit tricky with the water clarity that you've got. I would throw a jerk bait. If you've got cold temps and clarity like that, I would go jerk bait first. and then I'd go swim bait, maybe with an underspin before going to a drop shot or a lipless. Ron Holly loves Z-Man products. Absolutely, man. Me too. Riley, have to admit, Z-Man plastics are fire. Thanks to Tyler fishing for the first time this year. Woo! It's absolutely right, Riley. They are banging. I've got all these, and I still want more. For absolutely no reason. Ray says, thanks to Tyler, I have actual dreams about chatterbaits. My man. Ryan, hello from Saskatchewan, Canada. Well, hello from Denver, Colorado, all the way up to Saskatchewan. Ron says, greetings, northern neighbor. Very cool, guys. So I'm caught up on comments. I'm going to let you guys steer the conversation just a little bit. In general, I wanted to talk about spring soft plastics, but if you guys have specific topics of conversation or questions that you would like to ask, then let's do that. Ray, what's up, dude? Ray, we can talk about your email too, but what do you mean, Tyler, ... What did you want to talk about, man? Brian says, what's your top 5 confidence baits? That's pretty broad, but chatterbait is probably my number 1 confidence bait. Swim bait, weedless swim bait is probably my number 2. Then I'd go to maybe a Texas rig or a jig after that. And I'd go to probably a Ned rig. And then like a whopper plopper. BPS says Fire Craw will be back end of this month, last I checked. All right, dude, let's talk about the Fire Craw real quick. So, if you guys didn't notice, the Fire Craw jackhammer came in stock and out of stock in a few hours' time on Tackle Warehouse earlier this week. During Smallmouth Crush, he was doing a live stream like on Tuesday or Wednesday night, and the Tackle Warehouse got them in stock, and then the next morning they were out of stock. So I made the mistake of putting a few in my cart and not pulling the trigger right away, but it's going to be that way, Ray, where I think randomly they come in stock at different places, but almost mistakenly. Like, I don't think everywhere is going to get them back in stock quickly. I think it's going to be a while. You're going to see tons of other baits go out of stock. Like, just the current stockpile of baits here in the U.S. are going to sell out for the most part. So everything that is typically selling better is going to sell quickly when it comes back in stock. And my guess is for a few months longer that's going to be the case. So anyway, don't even know why you want one. Maybe because you're a Gators fan. Riley says, oh man, it's going down when they come out. It's going to be like World War III. Yeah, and it was on Tackle Warehouse. Honestly, I should have bought in 4 or more of them like I was going to. Ryan says, we only have 1 lake in our province with largies. Walleye, perch, northern pike, and trout here. Fished bass for the first time last year. Black and blue chatterbait. Killed it. My man. Yeah, that's a good one to throw when going for bass. So being all the way up there, you probably only have a couple of good months to fish for bass. That's not open until like June. Is that right, Ryan? Yeah, chatterbait is a great bait to throw for bass. Swim baits as well, man. Riley says they have them at Academy. They're not out of stock. I found them fully stocked for months now. Get out of here, Riley. If they have them, then go buy them and flip a couple. Because you can still sell them for like 40, pushing $50 a pop on eBay right now. People are still losing their minds. Ryan says, what's your favorite fish other than bass to catch? Trout, for sure. I grew up fly fishing, and that is still one of my favorite ways to fish. So I throw flies for mostly rainbow trout and brown trout here in Colorado. And I'm more of a river wading type of fisherman than anything else. So we've got some great fly fishing opportunities here in Colorado, and we've got like 9 different species of trout. But rainbow trout and brown trout are the most too common here around us. We've also got some decent brook trout, but they don't get nearly as big. Ron says, will Z-Man's TRD melt melt to plastic trays? No, it won't melt to the tray. All right, let's talk about that for a second, okay? So I've got my Ned Rig baits here in this guy, and it is warped to pieces. I will tell you that Elastec is arguably the worst soft plastic. You see how warped this is, bent? Elastec is one of the worst soft plastics for warping hard plastic in these boxes. Now, it won't just automatically melt unless it comes into contact with other soft plastics for an extended period of time, or it gets super, super hot and literally melts. But it will not melt just sitting in a plastic tray. That said, it will warp the dividers and the plastic, the integrity of the tray itself quite quickly. So, in general, it's best to keep all of your Elastec baits in their packaging and use a different storage system, you know, like one of these. We talked about this last week a little bit, the different options that you have for Z-Man plastics and how you can store them. But generally speaking, you're best off leaving them in the bags and not in plastic containers, just because it will warp the plastic more so than melt to the plastic or to the other baits in there. Though if you do have conventional soft plastic and Elastec touching, they will melt pretty quickly, I think. Ray says, I almost fished an OG chatterbait today, but I refused to fish one and catch my first bass on one unless it's on one of the two. You know which ones. Yeah, I hear you, Ray. But, you know, a regular OG chatterbait's not a bad deal. You know, it's a good bait still. So don't hate on OG chatterbaits. Jackhammer is the deal, though. It's good to know the difference between them too, Ray. Riley, yeah, I have work, and when I get out there, these are done. What? Hours are done. Do you add paint on hard baits to change the look, or just fish them stock? That's a great question, Brian. I rarely customize my baits with paint. Only thing that I will do on soft and hard baits is use these markers. These are Spike It markers, but essentially it's like a Sharpie with a little bit of scent to it. And so I will add black dots and shad dots, and I will color things in. I will add eyes to baits, and then I will add chartreuse to tails or add a stripe down the body, things like that. But otherwise, I'm not somebody who's painting my own baits. That's not really a hobby of mine at the moment. Ryan says fishing season is from May to end of March. Still ice here. Largies are in a power plant lake. Parts of it stay open all year, so the water is real warm. Since it won't freeze even when it's minus 40 here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we have good trout fishing. I live 20 minutes south of the Saskatchewan River. I believe the world record rainbow was caught here, possibly even record brown trout as well. Dang, dude. Very cool, Ryan. You ice fish from November until the end of March. Right on. Yeah, ice fishing seems like a cool deal. Just something that I haven't tried before. Don't necessarily trust myself to go do unless I'm going out with somebody who's a real pro at it, super safe about doing it. That said, there are some places just an hour or two south of here and west of here where the ice gets to be, 2 and 3 feet thick in the dead of winter and is still, 18 to 24 inches thick right now here in early April. So Ray says, I'm not, it's a sign of respect for you. What is, man? The chatterbait deal? I hear you. Um, you know, but that said, an OG chatterbait you can get for $3 or $4 depending on timing, and they will still work, right? Like here's the black and blue one that Riley's gonna get, just for the sake of comparison and to see what is what. It's got a basic paint job, basic blade, big old hook, and it chatters. It's gonna do the trick. Every now and again, you're gonna lose feel of the blade, and you're gonna have to snap it. You're gonna notice it doesn't start up quite as quick. It doesn't chatter quite as hard, but it's nice to know for the sake of comparison when you throw on that jackhammer, just how smooth and hard thumping and how thick the blade is, just how much nicer the components are when you actually use that bait. And then you use something different like the Strike King Rage Blade. And it's also cool to just feel something different on the other end of your rod. A chatterbait is one lure, but it's also a category of baits. So a lot of people look at it much more narrowly than they ought to, in my opinion, and really only throw 1 or 2 chatterbaits, period. Matt Thomas, what's up, dude? Ryan says, all I have are OG chatterbaits. I am sorry to hear that, man. Ice was still 36 inches thick. Woo-wee. Riley, our waters get as low as 30s, maybe. Okay. So, Matt Thomas, have you used the CFL chatterbait? Yes, I have. It seems like a really cool bait. I've actually got one tied on right now, black and blue, with a Magnum Rage Menace grub. Now, it seems like a really cool bait. I bought them all in heavier weights, like in 3/4 ounce, to just make sure that it does the job that it was intended for. Now, with that football head shape and the material that it's made of and the way that it runs, it is meant to stay down in the water column. So I really like it. I'll say that the thump that it puts out is a little bit lighter, and maybe it's because it's got zinc, but it feels a little bit different. So not a bad thing, but I find that it stays down a whole lot better than other chatterbaits. So especially in that 3/4 ounce, I can reel it at a slow to medium speed and keep contact with the bottom in 5 to 10 feet, no problem. So where a lot of people might think of trying to use chatterbaits or swing heads in lieu of crankbaits, this is like the first bait that really was designed to do that, and I think it does a pretty good job. So Ryan says in Canada, jackhammers are 25 plus. Fishing lures are expensive here. Dang. Ray, I got what you were saying, man. Don't worry about it. I understand. I was just saying you don't need to feel guilty catching a fish on a different chatterbait before one of those that I gave to you. But I really appreciate the respect and your patience too. But tie on that jackhammer and don't be scared to throw it, man. I've said it before, but especially with nicer baits, you got to be willing to throw it, especially if you say that your clarity situation has gotten better and you're getting lures through the stuff in the water a little bit better than you were a week ago. So tie on that chatterbait, get to catching them, man. It's about that time of year. Brian, what weedless weighted swim bait hooks for Keitech has the widest gap so the plastic can slide down? Good question, Brian. There are two. So, Brian, you've probably heard of the Owner Beast hook. I should have a couple packs sitting out here. So the Owner Beast is like the OG. This has a really good clearance on it. Extra wide gap, and the weight is all the way in the belly. Okay? Now, you move up to their Flashy Swimmer, which has an underspin blade on it. And what they do then is put the weight up closer to the nose. So it changes the weight placement, and it also is a little bit narrower of a gap. So what is the 6/0 Flashy Swimmer does not quite have the same gap as a 6/0 Beast hook from Owner. Now, Trocar makes what they call the Magnum swim bait hook and the swim blade, and it is just about the exact same clearance, same gap as the Beast. And in fact, it's got a little bit of an upturned hook, which I like. Sometimes you have to bend that down, but I like the centering pin, the screw lock on the Owner hooks better, but I like the Trocar value just a little bit better. So Trocar Magnum swim bait hook and the Trocar swim blade are the ones that you should know about from Trocar. And notice how on the bladed version, they have that weight pretty far down, and it's narrower. So this is the 5/0. Works really well on anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5 inch baits. So Owner and Trocar are the main two that I would use. Bunch of different brands have come out with their own versions as of late. You know, the VMC ones are pretty decent, but I would stick with the tried and true when it comes to those ones. Riley says, what color do you like more? Red/black. Oh, wait, red and black, black and blue, or green pumpkin. So I've never been much of a red and black type of guy. I've always been black and blue. But between black and blue and green pumpkin, I would probably go with black and blue personally. I know that green pumpkin is just a little bit more versatile, but I feel black and blue just a little bit more often. Ryan, even online prices suck. Pack of Strike King soft plastics are $8 to $10. Shoo! Matt Thomas, how do you feel about the C virus? I feel okay about it. Honestly, my wife is a nurse, and she's working tonight, so we're a little bit worried about that part of it, is the fact that she goes to a hospital a couple times a week and is running the risk of contracting the virus and then bringing it home to me and our two daughters. So that is the main worry, but we've been holed up here in the house for 2 going on 3 weeks, and are doing just fine. So thank you for asking. Hope you are doing well also, Matt. Thank you again for asking. Ray says, Ryan, need to make a trip here, do a mega stock up. Buy them on sale and sell for $5 off. Pay your own tackle with all the profits. Yeah, for sure, man. Zoom trickworms are $10. What? Ron Holly, what do you think of the Z-Man Diesel Minnows? All right, Ron. Good question, man. The Diesel Minnows by Z-Man was a 4-inch bait. They make it 3-inch minnows, not the Diesel Minnows, but the 4-inch was the original size that they made the Diesel Minnows. This is an awesome little paddle tail swim bait. As you can see, it's got a different shaped paddle, not round, but kind of squared off. So it's got a little bit more of a subtle action, but this plastic is soft and super stretchy. So not only is it really durable, but it works in all sorts of water temps. Like that a lot. So I like this on rigged a few different ways. Specifically, I like it on an exposed jig head, like this one here. This is the Trout eye. They also have the redfish eye. The hook shank is just a little bit bigger on the redfish eye. But this 4-inch I actually use more as a chatterbait trailer and swim jig trailer more than anything. Also works well on, a grip pin hook if you want to rig it weedless. But the Diesel Minnows is a great swim bait. The 4-inch is super versatile. They put out a 5-inch last year, and it is significantly bigger. So where you could throw it on the back of a chatterbait or a swim jig, this guy now is significantly bigger. So it matches up very well with the redfish eye jig head. Here's what it looks like when it's rigged. So this is not a small swim bait, right? 5 inches plus a jig head with, I think this has a 4-aught hook on it. That is no joke. So really great standalone swim bait in the 5-inch. You can also rig this weedless on a hook like what we were talking about with the, owner flashy swimmer, for example. Put that in the 5-aught or 6-aught version, and you're going to get good clearance, still have plenty of action. Really, really like that bait. So the Diesel Minnows in the 5-inch, I think, is an awesome standalone bait. The 4-inch is an awesome trailer. And there is one other size for us to talk about, Ron. Ron, I don't know if you throw big baits, but there is a 7-inch Diesel Minnows. I just picked these up in the off season. Have not thrown one yet. Ugh. But look at this freaking thing, dude. I don't have an exposed hook big enough to throw on this. Actually, I did just get some hooks that would work on this, I think. Let's see. All right, let's see if this hook will work. So last week on the stream, I opened up this pack of hooks. This is a 6 Sense Divine swim bait head in a 1 ounce and an 8/0 size. So we line this up, see that it is going to come out kind of right in the center of that gill. So let's see if we can rig this properly. Holy shnikes. If you guys haven't already hit that thumbs up button, do it now, because this is about to get a little bit weird. All right, I'm not going to fiddle with this too much longer because I want to show you guys what it looks like. Come on, man. Come on, man. Well, I did not rig it straight, of course, but just so you know that this hook is the right size for this bait, bam. A 1 ounce 8/0 hook on there. I would similarly put like a 9/0, maybe even a little bit bigger, between 10 and 12/0 weedless hook on there if rigging like a beast style hook. But anyway, this 7-inch diesel minnows looks to be pretty sweet. Absolutely monstrous. So I got it to throw alongside like the 7-inch spark shad that I have, and the 6.8 Keitech, and some other just massively oversized soft plastic swim baits. So anyway, to long-windedly answer your question, Ron, the Diesel Minnows swim bait is awesome. Definitely worth a look. 4-inch most versatile, 5-inch best swim bait, 7-inch pretty cool specialty bait. Ryan, how much do rods and reels start at? Okay. Justin says, what are your thoughts on X Zone lures? They look awesome. I've got their Ned Zone Ned bait, and I know that they're super proud of the fact that they're working with Brandon Palaniuk and have ramped up their pro staff and their jig game, and their soft plastics and solid. You know, they've been a good company for a number of years. I think that they do a good job. I don't throw their swammer soft plastic swim bait, and I don't drop shot very often. So that's the thing, is X Zone is one of those Midwest companies that was created, I think, mostly from drop shot and tube baits. So I think they're super high quality, but just don't necessarily align with everything that they're doing. But I like what they're up to. I'll say that. Ray, yeah, man, I watch Louder with Crowder a lot. He's from there. Seems like a very beautiful place. Cooler, expensive place. Okay. Emilio, what's up, Emilio? Matt Thomas. Awareness, my friend, not fear. Be safe. Absolutely. All right, Ryan's talking about crazy prices. Ron, I'm planning a trip. I'm planning on trying a jackhammer as soon as this creeping crud lifts. I hear you, man. Jackhammer, you need to try it, Ron. Absolutely. Ray says, Ron, they're not cheap, but man, they're super sweet lures. New to them, thanks for Tyler, and he's on them, didn't let me down. Yeah. Jackhammer. Riley says, from all the people say about him, definitely want to get one. Looking at some myself. Riley's going to get one in the mail next week from me. Ryan might have to get some jackhammers. Yes, you might, dude. Only thing is, how often will a pike bite you off, Ryan? Because you wouldn't want to get jackhammer bit off. Yeah, that's what Ray was thinking too. All right. Usually just 20-pound fluoroliters. You're not getting bit off, huh? All right, all right, all right. Justin, have you ever put a bullet weight on the line? About to put a Texas rig on and change your mind about and put a jerk bait on and leave the bullet weight on? What? Texas rig jerk bait? No, Justin, I have not done that. um, that's a weird thing to do. You got me even thinking about how to make it work, but no, dude. That's weird. Raul, how's it going, man? Brian, what's your favorite tackle storage thing that you own? How much? What's your favorite tackle storage thing that you own? Hmm. No, Ray, you're not burning me out on jackhammers. I love jackhammers, dude. And yeah, of course you do. I'll talk about the jackhammer until the end of time. I'm just sad at the moment that you can't get them for as readily and as cheaply as normal on places like Discount Tackle and everywhere else. But um, favorite storage thing, Brian? I don't know, man. Favorite tackle storage thing that I own. Mm, tackle storage. Man, I think tackle storage is overrated, Brian. I think the lure lock deal is pretty cool. You know, that these swim baits don't get all tangled up when they're in sitting in this box. But I think storage is a little bit overrated these days. Plano, Flambeau do a good job, and I usually get the standard to premium boxes. I'm not going overboard with the new Plano Edge or the Lure Lock or the Bass Mafia boxes. I'm getting the ones that are pretty standard priced. Now, one thing that is kind of a go-to for me, if I'm making a quick trip, I will make a couple of these, Brian. You can get these. These are small. 3003, I think, is the size number. These are made by Flambeau, and it's a partnership with Cabela's. So they sell these four for $8. They're $2 a pop, and you can put these Zerust dividers in here to create as many small compartments as you want. These are good for terminal tackle, they're good for regular lures, and they're shallow. So I'll fill up a couple of these with different types of baits to just have with me quick on the go, and I can throw them in any bag that I want. And that really frees me up. So that's probably my favorite storage deal is for the price of one normal tackle box. You're spending $10 on one of these, or you can spend $8 on four of these. You could fill one with terminal tackle, and you could fill three with hard baits, right? Different types of baits, and then you could bring a number of soft plastic bags with you. So that's probably my answer to your question. Ray says Plano Edge jig box. Tyler just doesn't know it yet. Yeah, no, I just haven't gotten onto the edge boxes yet. And from what I see so far, they're really heavy boxes. Same with Bass Mafia. You know, I don't want to carry around something that weighs 20 pounds on its own. Ron says mount that thing. I wish I knew what you meant when you say mount that thing. Riley says chatterbaits are like heaven for y'all. LOL. 1 second, Ray's having dreams about them. Next minute, it's gonna be freaking raining chatterbaits. I mean, Christmas for fishermen. 6 cents chatterbaits and lose makes me feel like a kid at Christmas for sure, says Ray. Absolutely. Would the chatterbait elite be a good choice? A better choice than the OG? Needs stronger hooks for pike, says Ryan. The OG starts to bend out after a couple 20-pound pike. Yes, Ryan. So the elite comes with a 5/0 Gamakatsu hook and is a little bit better of a hook. So I would say yes. The elite, so long as it's a new elite. You know, the old one was made just a little bit differently. The new elites have that 5/0 Gamakatsu hook and a hand-tied skirt. So I think those are good chatterbaits for the money, for sure. Good color patterns on them too. Wayne, what's up, man? How are you doing tonight? Good to see you in here. Ray says they're super heavy, no doubt. Sturdy though, definitely a boat box. Yeah, Bass Mafia and the Plano Edge boxes seem to be heavy, sturdy, bulletproof. That's the thing about the lure lock boxes that appeal to me, is that they're the same thickness, same weight as like a standard Plano or Flambeau box, but it's a different concept, right? You've got the dividers, but you've got that sticky bottom and bulletproof design. They say you can step on it and it doesn't break. So lure lock is something that I'm interested in for sure, but not the edge boxes quite yet. Justin says thoughts on flirt skirts. I haven't tried flirt skirts jigs, so I don't have any thoughts on them. Can't quite tell you what I think about something that I don't know anything about. So Wayne and Ray just chatting it up. Just want to stop by, say hello, listen a bit. Absolutely, man. So we're just talking. We're just talking a little bit about everything right now. We can get into talking about what people have been doing fishing recently. Fishing, I know, has been a little bit tricky, especially with COVID. I've only been out once in the last week and a half, and it was for an hour, and I didn't catch anything. So tough to buy the time and then to get to know a pattern. You know, we've had weird storm trends weather here recently. Brian says, do you believe in high vis braid to see the line for a weightless Senko setup? Yes, Brian, I believe that for a lot of different applications. So I throw high vis braid on a handful of setups, actually. But yes, Ray, I feel a lot of ease knowing that my $15 chatterbaits are in that Plano. I believe you. Does that Plano, or do those float, by the way, Ray? I heard that those Plano Edge boxes will float if they are dropped in the water. Riley says they closed all our lakes and we get a $500 fine for being out past 10 p.m. Dang. Yeah, see, that was a thought of mine, is that with COVID and social distancing and people not being allowed to fish during the day, I thought that night fishing would go up, especially in parts of the country where, you know, the weather is nice and it's not super, super chilly at nighttime, that people would fish a lot more at night. But that's sad to hear that that there's heavy fines for going out late at night. At least Riley says. Mandatory stay at home in Mississippi. Your weekend shot. Yeah, I hear that, Ray. I'm not supposed to be saying the C word. Um, but then again, I don't really care if this video gets flagged. I don't even know if my channel has been approved for monetization, but I've been waiting for that for a few weeks now to flip the ads on my videos, old videos and new. Um, they say that once you hit 1,000 subscribers that you can start making money, but that setting hasn't been available. It's been pending review for weeks now. So anyway, I don't care. I'll say COVID, 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 and if this video gets flagged, it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, absolutely, man. Um, it is weird how they're flagging videos like that. I'm not going to say anything in the description or the title of this video. I'm not trying to get views or make this clickbait of any kind by talking about COVID. Brian, do you use a spinnerbait trailer ever, and if so, what kind? In short, the answer is sometimes, but not very frequently. One, I'll say that I don't throw a spinnerbait all that often. The most common trailer that I throw on a spinnerbait is a hook. I throw trailer hooks probably 50% of the time or more when throwing a spinnerbait. Though I will sometimes, depending on how well they're eating the bait, I will sometimes take the skirt off and put a swim bait on. I will sometimes throw a split tail trailer, and sometimes I'll throw a single tail grub as a trailer on the back of a spinnerbait. But those are about the only ones. Riley, no. Probably spray me with pepper spray to go away. Yeah, it's pretty horrible that fishing is becoming an off-limits activity as well. You would think, yeah, it's one thing if big groups of guys are going, tournaments and people are filling up boats, going out on the water, but for someone to be alone or with one other person doing some bank fishing or going out on a boat by themselves, there should be absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't know why boat ramps are getting closed. Riley says, I'll be fine. I could maybe get out of the tickets. I have a lot of friends. I believe you got a lot of friends, but best be careful now. Now, I do feel like now is a good time to go fishing at golf course ponds. Is it not? I feel like fewer people are going to be out at the golf course. And you're going to get a little bit more lenience from employees these days. Dude in Malibu got arrested for paddleboarding by himself. Oh my gosh. You got arrested for that? That's absurd. I heard that, at least here in Denver, if not in more places than here, that police are being told that they're not allowed to arrest people for anything less than a felony offense, just because it's so foolish to have everybody be in close quarters and to take people into the jail. So arresting someone for paddleboarding, that sounds so absurd. Wayne says, I use a 3.5-inch Keitech swim bait for spinnerbait trailer. Works great. Yeah, it just depends on what kind of Keitech you're talking about. Wayne. The Keitech that works well on the spinnerbait is the standard swing impact. The swing impact fat is not going to be quite as much your friend when it comes to throwing as a trailer, and here's why. when the fish come to eat it, this bait collapses, but not that well. Okay. It's a good swim bait, but as a trailer, not as ideal. The regular swing impact, look at this bait. This one falls over a lot more, and it collapses completely. So the swing impact is a sleeper bait. Most people don't talk about the swing impact or the easy shiner. They only talk about the swing impact fat when talking about swim baits. But the swing impact is an awesome trailer, an awesome warm water, super wide kick, and the easy shiner is a really good standalone swim bait, finesse swim bait, cold water swim bait. Ron, mount that 7-inch diesel. That's what you were saying, man. James, sitting in a boat by yourself is the safest place to be. I don't disagree, James. Seems crazy to me. Brian, what's that Megabass swim bait look like? Have you fished it often? There are a few. Brian, which one are you talking about? I have not fished this bait. This is the Mag Slow. This has the magnet in the belly and a feather treble and a really thin, long tail. This is a super slow sink and a high in the water column type of swim bait, meant to be fished slow. This one is the Spark Shad in the 7-inch. And yes, I have fished it. Some. I actually haven't caught a fish on it yet, but really like it. It's got a long, nice tail there. Tons of good action on it. This is a good bait for fishing down low when rigged weedless like so. Really, really like it. This is just for side-by-side comparison. This is the 5-inch Spark Shad. This is the 7-inch. Just absolutely dwarfs it. And the 5-inch is no joke of a swim bait. So, 7-inch Spark Shad. This thing weighs like 2.5 ounces. And then the Megabass Mag Draft Freestyle only comes in a 6-inch right now. They make the Mag Draft, with that magnet and the belly treble hook. They make it in a 6, 8, and a 10-inch. But this Freestyle one that you can rig weedless, or you can rig with a as a line through, or however you want, only comes in a 6-inch right now. And as you can see, the Mag Draft tail is much thicker, does not bend over nearly as much. This is a more speed sensitive swim bait, more of like a medium speed type of retrieve bait, whereas that Mag Draft, or the Spark Shad, is a much softer, longer tail, better for swimming slow, better for a wider action. So I actually caught my first fish of the year on this exact bait right here, the 6-inch Megabass Mag Draft Freestyle. This is the MB Gizzard color, rigged on a 6/0 owner beast hook. So that I don't know if that answers your question, Brian, but yeah, all three swim baits are quite a bit different. This Spark Shad is meant to be fished lower in the water column, low and slow. The Mag Slow is slow and high, and the Mag Draft just a little bit faster, kind of middle of the water column. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit. Wayne, the ones above your head. So Wayne, you're talking about swing impact fats. Yeah, in my opinion, not the best as a trailer. Just my opinion, though. Ray says, Riley, did you erase your own message? Tyler, very true, but they closed everything. My friends have ponds. Me and my partner go out there and fish. It sucks, but it is what it is. Yep. Bass catcher for life. What's up, man? James Barone, what's the hardest thumping soft swim bait you've used in the 4 to 6 inch size? Good question. Hardest thumping swim bait in the 4 to 6 inch size. Hardest thumper. Might be the 5-inch Spark Shad. If not this one right here, it is probably the Keitech Swing Impact Fat in the 5.8 inch. This bait right here is super tough to beat, man. Come 4 to a pack for $10. The Spark Shads come 5 to a pack for $10, and these baits you can rig on a 5/0 swim bait hook, and they're absolutely killer. They are both soft and made from really high quality soft plastic, but they hold their shape and are relatively durable. If you've got a little bit of mend it, these baits will last you a long time, and we'll have some really good action. You can fish them slow or fast, and they're probably the two hardest thumping, but also most stable swim baits, best for the money. So, how much for everything on the wall behind you? Says Justin. I don't know. Couple thousand. Ryan, I'm so jealous of the amount of bass lakes you guys all have. Give up ice fishing for lake trout or summer fishing pike or walleye for more bass lakes. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's easy to think, the grass is greener on the other side and always want to try something different. I absolutely hear you there. Ray says, I threw a chartreuse and white tandem spinnerbait and a double gold silver willow with no trailer and 0 bites. Then tried a clear Zara spook and an electric, what now? Electric shad color 3.3 inch Keitech on an owner weighted hook. But they hit nothing. Rrr. Except for a BPS Senko. My 4-year-old tossed in the ruckus and got a 2 to 3 pounder. That's hilarious. Bass catcher, you did kind of miss the giveaway. All you need to do is hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment down below, not in this live chat section, but in the comments down below the video. And you can say anything you want, man. And there's 5 packs of soft plastics up for grabs right now. 3 packs of worms, 2 from 6 cents, 1 in the Ned Fry and 1 in the Clout. 1 of the Zoom trick worms, 1 of the Keitech crazy floppers, and 1 of the Googan baits Bandito bugs. So 5 packs of soft plastics. Ray says, what should I have thrown? It was so frustrating that they wouldn't bite. One even hit the side of the dock. They were so violently feeding, just not anything I was throwing. All right, Ray, let's go back. So you threw a spinnerbait first, and then a Zara spook, and then a 3.3 inch Keitech. Okay. So spinnerbait is a great option when they're schooling and blowing up like that for sure. Top water, good option. And then it's a small swim bait, not a bad option either. So, um, I wouldn't say you did anything wrong. I would throw a crankbait in there. Personally, I would just try and make a little bit more of a ruckus. I think the flash idea is a good one for sure. So I think throwing a chatterbait or a spinner bait is probably one of the better options. If you had an underspin on that uh, the hook that you were throwing that 3.3-inch Keitech on, that would have been technically speaking a little bit more ideal. But I've found that I do really well on something like a square bill crankbait or a lipless to get them just a little bit fired up. Chatterbait will do fairly well in there, but spinnerbait and an underspin is one of your best bets. So it can certainly be frustrating, Ray, and I feel you on that, and I'm sorry to hear that you weren't able to coax him into biting today. That's too bad, or not sure if it even was today. But Ryan says, "Is there any good way to put eyes on a Keitech bait? Really would like to see eyes on that bait." Um, Good question. Sure, there are eyes that you can buy to put on a bait like this. 6 Sense sells skirts and 3D eyes and all things like that. But no, as you can see, the Spark Shed has eyes on there. They do come off fairly easily, but the Keitechs do not. What I would do if I were you is just start to throw exposed hook jig heads more frequently. So the 6 Sense Divine swim bait heads are awesome. Great detail, great hooks. Um, the paint does wear off a little bit easily on them, but I think that's your best bet is just putting, an exposed hook on there to where you can snip off the nose. I'll show you on this one, for example, because it is getting a little bit loose here. This one's kind of worn out. So 5.8-inch bait. That size hook is going to be just a little bit small. That's the 1/4 ounce. This is the 1/4 ounce. I think it's got a 3/0 or a 4/0 hook on there. Might have a 4/0, but I will say I think the better size to throw is the 5/0 3/8 ounce. And so what I'm going to do is trim just a little bit of the tip off there. And I mean like not very much at all, right? Like you can see, I cut just a little bit off the tip. Now, what I'm going to do is line this up to see where it comes out the back. And that's going to be about 5 or 6 clicks. And when I say clicks, I mean ribs from the back of the hook slot. Just see that it comes through really the center or below the center of the bait as we're threading it through there. And we're going to just try and thread as straight as possible. With these hooks, it's got a screw lock keeper on it. So once you get up to that keeper, you start twisting it on. Bring the tail of the bait around. Bring it around probably 4 times. And then just nest that up there flush on the bait like so. And there you have it. Comes out far enough back in that hook slot to where it's appropriate, but not too far back. So this hook is just right for that. And then look, you've got the eyes on it that you thought were missing from there. And you get a much better hookup ratio, obviously, on that. So like I said, this is a 3/8 ounce 5/0 hook, 6 Sense Divine swim bait head on a 5.8 inch Keitech swing impact fat. So something to keep in mind. I would not try to add eyes to your Keitechs. I would just start throwing Megabass, or I would start throwing heads on your swim baits. But that's just me. So let's see what I missed. Ray would have thrown a jerk bait. Interesting. Bass catcher for life. Appreciate you. Ryan, not aggressive jerks. Maybe just slow rolling it enough to get some swimming action. Ray says, I don't want to try a crank since I lost that movement 80x. Ooh, that is brutal. But you gotta, I mean, here's the thing is you can't be afraid to lose baits. That's the problem. Riley, opinions on the Z-Man ticklers. Ooh, I will talk about the ticklers for a while, but let me just make sure I'm not missing a lot of comments. Wow, size 4 Rapala jerkbait. That sounds tiny, dude. All right. So, Riley, let's talk about the ticklers. I think I've talked about this bait before, but I am a big fan of the Z-Man TRD ticklers. This is like an evolved bait. This is the second or third edition. So the Z-Man Hula Sticks was out for a number of years, still is. It's a 4-inch bait that looks just like this. And it is very versatile. It kind of bridges a gap between like their shaky head style baits like the fatties and your Ned rig style baits like the finesse TRD and the big TRD. And that's because it's got these 4 tentacles on top, kind of like a tube would have, but it's just 4 thick tentacles. Now, what they did was shrink it down into a Ned rig size. So this is 2.75 inches total, including these little tentacles. So this is a tiny little profile bait. You put a Ned rig head on there, and what you get is something that when the fish bite, they almost can't avoid getting hooked up on here. So take a look at that. I mean, just absolutely wicked. I really, really like this bait. Quite a bit more than the standard finesse TRD when it comes to Ned rigging. Ticklers is the deal. The TRD tubes is hollow inside, so you have to rig it differently, but this Ticklers is solid and really good bait. On the flip side of the Hula Sticks, they did make an upscaled version, which is almost 6 inches long, and it's called the Bang Sticks. I talked about it last stream. It's a Nico rig specific bait. So Really, really good baits. Pretty much everything Z-Man puts out is wicked. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Sorry about that. All right. Ray says, Tyler, okay, I need a jerkbait suggestion since these guys are on me about it. I've got 2 6 cents jerkbaits. I figured the provokes and a Rapala silver one. Rapala and Berkeley jerkbaits in the shad color works really well. Ryan, I like the X-Wrap because of the feathered treble. Rip stops are nice too. Yep. Yeah, Ray, you have almost too many options, man. Ray says, the only jerkbaits I know are from 6 cents and Hank Cherry one. Pointer 110? No. That's Megabass Vision 110. 110 plus one, it's called. And yes, it's 25 bucks. The pointer is made by Lucky Craft. And it's the Pointer 100. Those are 15 or 17 bucks. I'll show you those baits in a second. Ryan, that would be sweet to get sponsored. Even to get lures for less price would be awesome. Yep. Okay. Jerkbaits, jerkbaits, jerkbaits. Where are you? So I have split up my jerkbaits into 2 boxes. Maybe I talked to you guys about this last week, maybe not, but my jerkbaits have now overflowed and don't fit into 1 box anymore. So I did have them all in this box and had to spill them over into a second box. So BJ Harris, what's up, man? All right, so guys, by the way, it's not that hard to get sponsored or start a relationship where you can get discounted lures. It's kind of the deal I've got going on with Discount Tackle, and I absolutely love it. Appreciate it, BJ. Thank you for the compliment, man. Now, Ray, let's talk about a couple things because there's honestly so many different jerkbaits that I throw and that I would recommend. So, the Megabass Vision 110 is, $25 jerkbait. Has a really advanced weight transfer system, super high quality hardware on there, has a finessey wild action built into it, but for 25 bucks, it's it's hard to justify the price unless you're going to throw a jerkbait a little bit more frequently. You know, the Pointer 100, like I talked about, same type of deal, you know, but it retails in the 15, 16 bucks range. So probably not worth it. So if we move over and we talk about stuff that's a little bit more more reasonable, let me give you like 3 options that I think compete really well with that 6 cents per vote that you have. So first is the KVD 300. 300 stands for 3 hooks. 1, 2, 3. They do make the 200 version, which dives the same depth, is just a little bit smaller of a bait. But 3 hooks is always my preference when it comes to jerkbaits when given the option. So you get a little bit dulled of a sound on that than you would get with some other baits. But get a little bit rounder of a body. This is a very good all-around jerkbait. Costs about 9 or 10 bucks. Okay, KVD 300. Now, the bait that I've talked about a lot is the Lucky Strike Lightning Pointer XR98. Also retails at 10 bucks. You can get it for $8 on Discount Tackle. Listen to the sound here. Get a little bit louder of a sound. 2 hooks on this one, being 98 in length. But great value for the action. Couple other ones I will mention are the Smithwick Rogue Elite 8. This one is like $8. Comes with Gamakatsu hooks stock on them, and it dives just a little bit deeper, like 8 feet. The KVD dives like 7 feet, so these guys go just a little bit deeper than a standard jerkbait would. You know, I'm gonna agree with who was it, Ryan? Yeah, Ryan, that the X-Wrap is a sweet bait. You know, they all are only 2 hooks, which is not ideal, but they all come with the feathered treble on the back and these internal foil color patterns, which last a lifetime. So these will withstand a million bites and last forever, and they're like 10 bucks. They are very standard, diving some 4 to 6 feet deep, whereas the ripstop, you know, they make it in a smaller size and a bigger size. I like the bigger size ripstop. It's a 12 size, 120, and it's more of a flat-sided jerkbait with this hard lip on the back. So it dives shallower, and it does suspend, but it's meant for a stop and go type of retrieve. That tail will just stop it on a dime. A little bit different action from that jerkbait. So if you're looking for something that will kind of do it all and works well in cold and warm conditions, I would go with that KVD 300 or the Smithwick Elite 8 Rogue. You have to be careful when getting Smithwick lures because most of their jerkbaits do not suspend but rather float. So just want to pay attention to that. The Lightning Pointer that I mentioned from Lucky Craft is super high quality, but again, it's 2 hooks and it does slowly sink. So it dives a little bit deeper in the 6 to 8 foot range, and then it does slow sink like the Rapala Shadow Wrap. So if you want one that's going to suspend and be consistent straight out of the pack, I would look at that KVD 300. Another one that's a sleeper Japanese bait that doesn't need really any tweaking out of the pack is the Ima Flit 120. Now it does have an interesting, more minnow style body shape to it and a little bit longer lip. So this guy dives, again in the 6 to 8 foot range, a little bit deeper, but it's got a great action on it, and I think Owner Hooks stock on it, and it retails at like $10. So I'd say either the Ima Flit or that Strike King KVD 300 are the best bang for the buck jerkbaits. Okay, you could talk about jerkbaits a while longer. And yeah, I do need a discount tackle to those. BJ Harris. Yeah, awesome jerkbaits for sure. Oh man, that's really sad to hear. Um, it's a really unfortunate part of bank fishing is people stealing stuff. Racist, how do I pick a color? Um, what's your water clarity like again, man? Typically speaking, jerk baits are going to be for clear water conditions, typically speaking. So, I've got 3 colors of the KVD 300. One, I've got more of a true clear water color. This color here, I think, is called Clearwater Shad. And it's got a little bit of a purple back, pearl white belly with a subtle orange throat, and then just like a sparkly shad profile with kind of a chartreuse line down the side. This one I showed you already is called Strobe, something like that. Stronger purple top, a chartreuse belly, and then you get some shine and shimmer to the sides. Lastly, just got this straight bream bluegill natural type of pattern. So with jerk baits, you really just want 3 color patterns. You want one that's totally clear, you want one that's a little bit brighter or flashy, and you want one that is bold or opaque or is going to stand out. So if I were you, I'd go with something like this. Something that's going to be translucent, but also a little bit flashy or bold. And I would err more on the side of translucent and bright than flashy. Yeah, because a lot of these jerk baits will come, you could get them like flashy, right? But then the sunlight has to be just right. So, like with these Spromix sticks, the 3 that I have are this one Blue Bandit, which is like a translucent, sexy shad color. This yellow Table Rock shad color. And then this Old Glory, which is super shiny and flashy. So, again, you really kind of just want 3 types of color patterns with each bait. But if you're going to pick one, I would first go with that middle ground where you get the translucency, but you also get some of that bright. So it will do extremely well on smallies, but also do well on largies as well. Riley says, Tyler, for all the money you spend on baits, you are definitely making a hell of an investment. Not sure what you're saying, Riley. For all the money you spend on baits, you are definitely making a hell of an investment. Yeah. What? The race has 4 feet visibility. Yeah. The strobe color is wicked. You know, when it comes to the 6 cents provoke, I've only got 2 colors. Got one in the Rayburn Ghost and one in the Jaint Juice. I do like clown colors. So yes, Ray. This right here is the KVD 300 in the strobe color. Riley says you have a good choice of baits. Not sure if you're saying my taste is good or if I've got a good selection, like a lot of baits. But either way, yes, thank you. Brian, I have like 5 jerk baits but don't use them at all. Can't remember what bait does what. So sad. Is there any way to tell if it suspends, or can I tell by putting it in a tank? Yes, you can. That's probably your best bet. Is fill up your bathtub or your kitchen sink or a fish tank if you've got one, and fill it up with cold water. Make sure you use a thermometer so that you're actually simulating the water temps. And I would set it at something like 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can play with that, right? Like where I am right now, water temps are low 40s. So I would look there first, but 50 might be a good starting point because it's a good middle ground temperature. You're gonna throw jerk baits until 55 degrees is when you're really gonna want to be using them as a go-to bait given the right conditions. If you've got the clarity and a little bit of wind, a jerk bait can be the real deal. So you just got to fill up your water, toss it in, or what you can do is just bring some with you to the lake next time you go, tie them on, and then just run it next to the boat or next to the bank wherever you're fishing, and see what happens when you start and stop the bait. I noticed, for example, the other day when using my Rapala DT6, I have put a bladed treble on there. I don't think I've got it with me right now, but I've got a demon colored Rapala DT6 that I upgraded the front treble to one of those new bladed trebles from VMC, and it changed the buoyancy of the bait. It's a balsa wood crankbait, and those things have some pretty fast rise on them. And just that bladed treble changed the buoyancy enough to where it's pretty much a suspender at 6 feet. So pretty crazy. You do want to pay attention to that, though. You can also, Brian, just look up online. If you know the model that the jerkbait is, there's usually enough information there. So you should be able to tell, that a Rapala shadow wrap is going to slow sink and a shad wrap is going to slow float. And an X wrap is going to suspend. Rapala will tell you all of those things. Pretty much every manufacturer will let you know the diving depth and whether it suspends or floats or perhaps slow sinks. So just want to look up that information online, man. Clown is your favorite color for trolling. PB walleye, lake trout, and pike have come on that color. Right on, man. What would be like a good jerk bait for someone to try if they've never thrown them? BJ, that depends on. What are you guys joking saying both? All right, BJ. So depends on what water you're throwing. Uh, like where you're fishing most of the time. I'm sorry, Ray. You and Riley are talking some nonsense that I can't keep up with. So, BJ, let's just say if you're only gonna pick up one jerk bait and you want the best one, uh, best bang for your buck, dude, I'd throw something like the Rapala Husky Jerk or Rapala Ripstop. Now, the Ripstop's a little bit expensive. So, BJ, I'm only hesitant because it does depend on what you're fishing. Um, if you're fishing shallow water or water with current, you might want to throw a floating jerkbait. But otherwise, you're going to be spending ballpark $10 a bait for jerkbait. So um, you do need to just kind of come to terms with that before getting into the jerkbait scene. But I'll just defer to what we talked about before. The KVD 300 is probably the bait that I would go with if you're just going to try one. It's got a good sound, good action, nice color patterns, nothing too crazy, not too expensive. Um, and you kind of get what you expect. That said, if you shop around, if you pick your spots, you can find some really cool stuff for some great deals, and that's mostly how I tend to shop. So Ray says, "No, we're agreeing with you." Well, I agree with her that she complimented you. Yeah, okay, okay. Whatever about my taste. You guys are nice. So we're 2 hours and 8 minutes in, guys. I'm not gonna hang around too much longer. Um, I feel like I should just like throw this in the giveaway. Keep in mind if you want to enter this giveaway, which is probably gonna have very little competition. I am happy that one of you guys is going to win it. It's gonna be these 5 packs of soft plastics. 2 from 6 Sense, 1 from Zoom. Those are all worms. Keitech Crazy Flappers and the Googan Baits Bandito bugs. All you got to do is like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel already, and leave a comment down below, not in the live chat, but in the comments down below the video, and you are entered to win. I will choose a winner in 1 week from now. So next Friday night, I will choose a winner off of the comments from this video specifically and ship something out the next week. Ryan says, hope that makes its way to Canada. It's like $100 in baits. So here's the thing on giveaways, Ryan. I have always set a rule in the past that if you're entering the giveaway and you win, you've got to have an eligible U.S. shipping address. And I will have that still be the rules, but if you win and you live in Canada and you're willing to split the split the cost of shipping with me, then I'll do it. I've never shipped to Canada, so I don't know how much it's going to be, but I would hope and expect it's not going to be an absurd amount. You know, it might be more than it should be, but let's say it costs $20 to ship. Something that would ordinarily cost, $5 to ship in the U.S. I would still do that and split the cost with you, but I'm not going to spend $20 to ship something internationally. So hope you can understand where I'm coming from there. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Brian says, "What's your favorite buzzbait brand? Probably War Eagle. Favorite color and trailer? Black buzzbait with a toad trailer. So that War Eagle Buzz and Toad they now make with the Yum Tip Toad. I usually throw it with, a Rage Toad or Keitech Noisy Flapper, or maybe sometimes the Zoom Horny Toad on the back of there. But War Eagle Buzzbait typically in the black. Ryan, no problem, man. Brian, I'm glad you had fun tonight. Well, no problem, Ryan. I like hanging out with you guys too, so no problem, BJ. Thank you guys for being appreciative. Right on. I could not agree with you guys more, and the vibes that you're putting out. This is super fun to do. So, I will be available tomorrow night and Sunday night as well, believe it or not. So, I will probably hop on, try to come up with a more legitimate agenda of stuff for us to talk about. If you guys have any topics of conversation, any ideas that you'd like to throw out, please feel free to do so. Send me a message on Instagram, leave a comment here on YouTube, do whatever you want to do. But if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, look out for a live stream tomorrow night about the same time. So would be about 8:30 Mountain Time, 10:30 Eastern Time, most likely. It was a little bit later tonight because my daughters didn't go down until later, and I wasn't able to get my stuff together and get down here to stream on time. So it wasn't until about 9 o'clock. It's after 11 o'clock my time now, and I've received a few texts that I need to respond back to, including some from my wife. So I'm gonna head out of here. Finish the rest of my night. Riley, this box is still for you, and I'm going to add to it. Okay, I am so sorry that I haven't sent it out yet. Believe me, Ray will tell you that I might be a little bit late, but better late than never. I will follow through on my word. So I've got 3 chattering style baits in here. This is the Rage Blade from Strike King. This is the OG chatterbait from Z-Man, like in a smaller, lighter weight. And this is the Jackhammer in black and blue. All 3 of these in black and blue, given what we talked about with your water clarity and your preferences. And then I've got 5 different Ned rig heads here for you. Let's continue the conversation before I actually send this out your way, and I'll put some more stuff in there for you. And per our conversation, if you just send me some of those tungsten bullet weights, we'll be good to go. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let that be the end of our conversation tonight. Ryan, that is nice of you to say. Offering to send the giveaway to BJ. Man, you guys are all really good dudes. So appreciate the community growing a little bit. It felt like it was just me, Riley, and Ray for a hot minute, but now we've got Ryan, BJ, and a couple other guys in here that really seem to be stand-up guys. So really, really appreciate you guys. So good hanging out. Have a great rest of your night. Sleep well. Have a great day tomorrow. And hopefully I will see you in here tomorrow night if you've got a little bit of free time. So Peace. If you somehow, some way manage to get out on the water tomorrow, best of luck. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow night and we'll talk about some baits. I don't think I'm going fishing tomorrow. I am planning on going Monday though with my daughters. Probably won't be very productive, but you got to try, right? So have a great rest of your night. See you soon, guys. Bye.